Guardians of Dominion, Zeus here. Today we're stepping into dangerous territory, because what I'm about to show you challenges one of the safest assumptions in hero wars right now. A single interaction, tested at full power, is already changing how control, protection, and timing work in the arena, and if you're not prepared for it, you'll feel it the moment this hero goes live. After I fully maxed out Fluffy, it was finally time to step into the arena and see how all of this theory actually plays out in real battles. The very first thing that came to my mind was testing him against Sebastian teams, because Sebastian has always been the cornerstone of protection against control. If Fluffy truly works the way he looks on paper, this matchup should reveal it immediately. So I designed a full control-oriented team: Arachne, Jorgen, Fluffy, Aiden, and Faceless. There is no classic damage dealer in this setup at all. Every hero here exists to control, disrupt, or keep the team alive. I could have easily swapped Jorgen for a mirror or Folio to add heavy damage, but that wasn't the goal. My intention was not to showcase a fluffy meta team or something I'm recommending you to build. This was a test team, built purely to expose mechanics and interactions. Think of it as a sandbox, not a finished product. The core idea behind this setup is very simple, but extremely powerful. Fluffy's role is to cancel Sebastian's Ode to Serenity. Once that skill is removed, the entire enemy team becomes vulnerable to control effects. From that moment on, the fight is no longer about damage, it becomes about who controls the battlefield. The control chain works in a very specific order. Jorgen starts by stealing energy, slowing down ultimates and disrupting the enemy's rhythm. After that, Faceless applies the first stun and then pulls the enemy heroes toward the center, grouping them tightly together. Once the team is stacked, Arachne takes over and keeps them under continuous stun pressure for the rest of the fight. I included Aiden here for one clear reason: Arachne simply cannot survive this kind of incoming damage on her own. Aiden's protection is what allows the control loop to stay alive long enough to win. And in many battles, this worked exactly as intended. Fluffy successfully cancelled Ode to Serenity, which means the protective shield against negative effects never came online. Once that shield is gone, control heroes suddenly have full freedom to dominate the battlefield. At that point, the enemy team is no longer playing the game, they're just reacting. However, during extended testing, a very clear pattern started to appear. I began losing battles specifically against Lara Croft teams. And the reason was always the same. When Lara Croft stunned Fluffy, Fluffy could no longer activate his usurpation skill. And if Fluffy is stunned at the wrong moment, Sebastian's ultimate goes through uninterrupted. Once that happens, the entire control strategy collapses instantly. This highlights an important limitation. Control effects themselves counter Fluffy. If Fluffy is disabled, he cannot disable Sebastian. Chorus alone is not enough to guarantee full stun protection, so this team does not win consistently. To properly protect Fluffy from Lara Croft, you need both Chorus and Sebastian in your lineup. Without that double layer of protection, Lara can shut Fluffy down before he does his job. From this first test, we can already draw a very important conclusion. Sebastian's value has clearly dropped. His Ode to Serenity is no longer a reliable, standalone solution against control teams. Sebastian alone is no longer enough. To have a higher chance of keeping your team safe from control effects, you now need Sebastian and Chorus together, and even then, there are weaknesses. And that leads us to another critical point. Chorus cannot stop Jorgen's energy steal. Even with added protection, energy control still slips through. With Fluffy entering Dominion, Jorgen's value has increased significantly. Energy manipulation is becoming more important again, especially in longer, control-heavy fights. What we're seeing here is not just the arrival of a new hero, but the beginning of a shift. A new control era is forming, one where immunity is no longer guaranteed, timing matters more than ever, and preparation beats raw damage. There is one more detail I want to point out. While watching these battles, you might not notice huge damage bursts happening on screen. But if you look closely at the battle reports I show in this footage, Fluffy's damage numbers are actually very high. That damage comes primarily from reflection mechanics and from his Mark of Death skill, which is capable of dealing serious damage over the course of a fight. This is something we'll break down in much more detail in upcoming videos, because Fluffy's damage is not obvious during the battle, but it absolutely shows up in the results. So to wrap everything up, this video wasn't about proving that Fluffy is unstoppable, it was about understanding what he actually changes in Hero Wars. You've seen how he can break Sebastian's protection, reopen the door for control teams, and shift the fight away from raw damage and back toward timing, energy, and battlefield control. Fluffy doesn't win battles on his own, but he removes the safety nets that many teams have relied on for a long time, and that alone changes the meta. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about this new control dynamic? Do you see Fluffy as a situational counter, or the start of a bigger shift in arena fights? Which heroes or team setups do you want me to test next while I still have early access? Drop your thoughts and questions in the comments, I read them all, and they directly shape the next videos. If this breakdown helped you understand what's coming, support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, so you don't miss the upcoming deep dives on counters, synergies, and real battle testing. Being prepared before a hero is fully released is how you stay ahead. Until next time, stay sharp, think strategically, and don't just follow the meta, learn how to control it.